What's going on, everybody? Robert Cook here. So we've already gone over story conception, we've already gone over character creation and character profiles, right? Well, now we're about to get into story structure. So what I'm going to be talking about today is the 3-act, 4-act, and hero's journey style structure, right? And you could use hero's journey in any one of the different story structures. All that is sort of like a roadmap for you to take your hero through. So, what is story structure? Well, story structure is kind of like a formula, if you will. A lot of people give story structure a real rough gig because some people think it's too formulaic and other people like to keep to tradition. At the end of the day, it's all up to you. If you want to try a different form of structure that will go along with your story, then go for it. But these are the top 3 kind of story structure items I suggest all beginners start with because they're the most widely known and they are the easiest to write, in my opinion. So with your 3-act structure, it starts off like this: a little bit of a rise, and then you have a longer rise up until you hit a climactic point right here, and then you have a steep and steady drop that follows all the way through to the ending. Simply put, those right there are going to be separated into 3 acts. You have your first act, which is normally, if you're working on a 90 to 119 page feature, you're looking at your first act being somewhere in between the 25 to 30 page range, right? By formula, that's how it's supposed to go. If you read the Save the Cat book, Blake Snyder has his own take on it. A lot of people say it should be longer because we need more time to connect with the characters. And some people say even 25 to 30 pages is too long because that's all exposition anyways. It's about finding that golden medium that fits your story. That's your 3-act structure. The 4-act structure is only a little bit different. So with a 4-act structure, it starts, you're at this point here, you give it a little bit of a rise, and then you give a bigger rise, and then you hit the same climactic point, except you break it up into 2 parts, right? And then from there, after the second climactic point, you drop it down, and it falls through to the end. When it comes to 3-act and 4-act, it's all based on personal preference. The big difference between 3-act and 4-act is that space in the middle. What I've always done, I don't know if this is like formula correct or not, but what I've always done is I use that as the big points of conflict for my character or characters. What I mean by that is the first climactic point, it's really just kind of like a prelude to the actual climax, if that makes sense. That's how I normally try to write when I write 4-act. That right there is kind of like a teaser to what the actual climax is going to be. And then you follow along, and then right there, that's where the actual climax is, on this point right here. After that, it just falls through into Act 4 and goes on to the ending. Now, talking about the hero's journey. Okay, the hero's journey is a story concept that was originally developed by a man named Joseph Campbell. And he took all the mythologies of the world, well, not all of them, but a lot of mythologies from the world, and he compared and contrasted them. He tried to figure out, how do we tell stories from a mythology standpoint? And how is it similar to the rest of the world? How do us as human beings tell stories? Well, that thesis was grabbed by a man named Christian Vogler, or Vogler. I always seem to mess up his name. But he put that into a writing format. And he took the thesis and created a book, and the book is called The Hero's Journey. And Joseph Campbell's thesis, if you want to look it up, I believe is called Hero with a Thousand Faces. If I remember my stuff right. Sorry, there's a bug. So, with all that being said, when it comes to the hero's journey, you have, my favorite example is Star Wars, right? If you follow episode 4 from beginning to end, Luke is experiencing the full hero's journey. It starts off where we are introduced to the hero. The hero is greeted, and you know, you see this in Lord of the Rings too. The hero is greeted by a wisdom character, if you will. The wisdom character kind of gives the hero a little bit of urgency, a little bit of sense of what life is like outside of the status quo. And then either the hero decides not to embark on the adventure the wisdom character has laid out, or he chooses to. In the case of Star Wars, he doesn't. Spoilers. And then the inciting incident happens where the hero is either making the choice to continue on with the journey, or he is forced upon the journey. In Star Wars, he's forced upon it. He decides he doesn't want to deal with the old man Ben anymore, and he runs home only to find that his aunt and his uncle are crispy critters, and that sends him further on the journey, and it follows through the full hero's journey circle. I recommend you get your hand on a copy of the hero's journey. I will leave a link in the description below to where you can obtain a copy from. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, I hope you enjoyed all of the little tidbits of info I gave you over the 3-act, 4-act structure and the hero's journey. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. And you know what, guys? Leave a comment. If people are watching this, I want to hear y'all's take. I want to hear y'all's opinions. I want to hear y'all's advice. Tell me something that y'all are doing that relate to the 3-act, 4-act, and hero's journey. We're all here for each other. I want to be able to encourage y'all. I hope that I've helped y'all. I hope that I provide decent information. And the best way I can find that out is through comments. So if you could please leave a comment on this video. In summary, we've gone over the 3-act structure briefly, we've gone over the 4-act structure briefly, and we've also touched on the hero's journey. Now, here pretty soon, we're also going to be creating another video series called Filmmaking Grade School. And in those videos, I'm going to hit these points. All these points I'm hitting for y'all, I'm going to hit them in most great detail. It's going to be a lot of information, a lot of good information, and the best part about it, it's going to be free. You won't have to spend $100 to $250 to $500 to learn all the right methods to create either your first short or your first feature film. So, thanks again. I hope to see y'all next time. Until then, enjoy, learn, and be good at it. Later.